Well, I'll give you just one example. I asked this one scholar, so-called, about one of the ayah, Allahu Nuru Samawati wal Ard, about that part.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what he told me? He said,
Mm-hmm.
there are certain ayahs that we have to simply blindly have faith in that, and the life goes on. That's exactly his quote unquote was answered, because they themselves don't know anything. They don't, really investigate or find out themselves what this ayah means. They don't connect the Quranic, ayahs between each other like the way we are doing here. And Alhamdulillah, with our discussions and you, I know a lot than a lot of people, and I'm really thankful to God for that. If I can go back to my question, because we have very
Please.
limited time, if
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
possible.
please. Go ahead.
I'm going to go back to your presentation of day 23rd, which is
Mm-hmm.
about the sacrifice of Ibrahim.
Yes, yes.
And if I go to that surah, it starts with the ayah وَنَادَيْنَاهُ أَنْ يَا إِبْرَاهِيمُ قَدْ
Mm-hmm.
صَدَّقْتَ الرُّؤْيَا إِنَّا كَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ إِنَّ هَذَا لَهُوَ الْبَلَاءُ الْمُبِينُ وَفَدَيْنَاهُ بِذِبْحٍ عَظِيمٍ.
Mm-hmm.
So my two questions are, what was the real situation at the time? Did he really saw a dream, or what was the
Yeah,
Quran?
yeah, yeah. Quran is saying, I mean, if you read the previous verses, okay, and then we can move to the second question. But for this question, Quran is saying initially, I mean, the previous verses, okay, if, فلما بلغ معه السعي قال يا بني إني أرى في المنام أني أذبحك. He said, I see in my dream. He did not say that Allah showed me in the dream.
Right.
You see, he saw a dream,
Right.
okay, that see himself slaughtering his son, okay. So basically, for both of them, they thought that this is really coming as a command from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is how they reacted, okay.
That's
And
my
Quran,
Did
yeah, and
they
Quran
get
did not
actually
really blame them for that reaction, okay, because but Quran is really putting it in a question. قد صدقت الرؤيا. There is a question mark also. You can read it this way.
Yeah.
Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as I said in that presentation, does not command any sinful, shameful act. إن الله لا يأمر بالفحشاء.
Yeah.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not, okay, in any way or shape ask somebody to kill his own son for no reason.
And only one son.
Because one son or among 10, but there is no reason why to kill.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't ask anybody to kill,
Yeah.
especially for an innocent person and your son. Okay, what is the value of this? There is no value. But really, Quran wants to abolish this idea of sacrificing children to the idols or to the false gods. So the God that Ibrahim had to know about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he is not like these idols that he abandoned.
Okay.
You see, he thought that, okay, if people are sacrificing their own children to the idols, then I have to do it for Allah.
Did he actually act upon though? That's my
No. فَلَمَّا أَسْلَمَ وَتَلَّهُ لِلْجَبِينِ. Because Ibrahim was acting out of thinking that he is obeying, that it is a command from Allah. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not say that I am commanding you. Okay, but this is why Quran considered it bala mubin. It's not easy. It has to go through Ibrahim alayhi salam, okay, somebody of high caliber, to abolish this type of a practice. وَفَدَيْنَاهُ بِذِبْحٍ عَظِيمٍ. So you see what does it really mean?
That's what my question is. How did he
فدي
compensate?
yeah, go ahead.
It's a big bezibhin azim, and he called it azim and
Mhm.
big ransom. So how Ibrahim alayhi salam was compensated? Is that the ayah which came after Ibrahim to be called as Khalilullah? Is that or how? I mean, what happened after that?
No,
Why?
no, the whole idea, I mean, like, as I said in the presentation, is to restore the greatness of the human being in the eyes of Allah. That He is saying, I am ransoming him. I don't want you to be ransomed to me. I don't need this. I am not like the other idols that you have abandoned. The relationship with me is totally different. I respect, I value the human being. Should not be sacrificed for any reason or for anything or for anybody. Even to Allah, this is not acceptable. Should be abolished. This idea of sacrificing children. Okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not need the flesh and the blood. He needs from us our consciousness of Him, taqwa. لن ينال الله لحومها ولا دماؤها. Even when you are sacrificing an animal, you are not doing for Allah, but you are doing it for the people, to feed the people. Allah doesn't need that. He needs to show him your ability to sacrifice out of yourself something for your own fellow human being. Okay. You see, look at the verse itself. وَفَدَيْنَاهُ. Allah is talking, and He's talking in the plural because He is Azim. Is that right? Allah is Azim. And He is saying, I am ransomed the human being with a momentous or great sacrifice. What does that tell you? That the human being is great. So the great is ransoming the great with a great sacrifice. So the whole idea is to restore the greatness. Unfortunately, we follow all these superstitions, okay, and we think that Ibrahim was basically, I mean, like a challenged or tested, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not. He is really taking away this burden. Bala mubin. Yep. What is this bala? The bala is really when people are sacrificing their children. This should be stopped. Unfortunately, instead of being abolished, it continued. And Quran had to rewrite that story again, to reproduce it again in Quran. Different from what you see how it is produced, I mean, with distortions in the previous books, and showing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is really like enjoying really the slaughter and the cooking, I mean, the flesh of Ismail. Is this the way you want to see to worship God like that? No, I want to worship the God who considers me great, because He is great, and He will ransom me rather than being presented as a sacrifice.
Is he can say against His policy and creation.
Exactly. So He is teaching Ibrahim, but the hard way. He is teaching us through Ibrahim that you cannot do that. Yeah. Even if you see it, even if you see it in your dream, you have to reinterpret that dream.
And it can be It's just like how sincerely Ibrahim is willing to do it. Allah is testing him that time. Yeah, Muhammad.
So because he is a true believer, so he
Yeah.
was still under the effect of his environment.
Yeah.
But Allah wants him to move from that old environment and establish a new relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, different from what has been seen with the how people establish relationship with these fake gods and false gods.
Yeah.
Relevant, to make it relevant for this time, our time now, we still sacrifice our
Yes, in
family,
different ways.
our, like,
Yes,
our girls for gain
yeah,
of worldly gain, of,
yes,
thinking that, our boys to gain for this world, right? We are sacrificing not on an idol or Allah, we are sacrificing on the material stuff, materialistic things.
yes, no question about it. Yeah,
So that's continued now. I think the practice what Allah is trying to abolish, it took a
yeah,
different form now.
yeah.
Changed into a different way to handle it.
So in other words, not to see what happened yes, it is a trial to Ibrahim, but the bigger trial is the sacrifice itself that has been practiced in the days of Ibrahim and continued to be practiced even after him. So it was supposed to be abolished with Ibrahim and Ismail. Unfortunately, it continued. This is why Quran revisited again, because it was mentioned in the Torah. That particular story, you find it in the Torah, but it was reproduced, rewritten in a different way, okay, to restore the greatness of the human being, not to be to show that the human being can be sacrificed and killed and slaughtered for the it is by the way, do you hear a rabbi talking about this? Do you find a priest talking? It is in the book, in their book, because they are embarrassed by it. Unfortunately, it was rewritten in Quran in a completely different way, and we follow the old the old school, and we follow the superstitions, everything that papered over that story over time, and we try to translate, to interpret the verses according to that. This is not acceptable at all. Quran revisited that issue because it was not understood still. Until today, we try to talk al-dhabih, al-dhabih, al-dhabih. And sometimes you use it as a name, Dhabihullah Fulan, Dhabihullah Khan, Dhabihullah, I don't know what. What is this Dhabih?
Dr. Khair, in the Torah, I think they replaced Ismail with Ishaq.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know,
I was asked this question several times. I said, Quran did not even mention the name. It could have even happened twice.
Mm-hmm.
It could have happened with both. I don't care. I remember, wallahi, I gave a lecture about Ibrahim alayhi salam, and I talked about this, and the most of the audience were Jewish people. A lady came to me after she said, you restored really the status of Ismail in my eyes.
Okay.
Because the way Ismail is presented, okay, as or Ishaq, whoever is, I mean, like, basically to undermine them, and by this way you are undermining the greatness of the human beings in the eyes of Allah.
Yeah.
Allah is treating you as a great creature. Why you are really presenting it as if like, okay, it has been to be slaughtered and be for what? What are you going to prove? What are you going to prove? Please tell me that, okay, that Ibrahim is a believer. We know that he is a believer.
And I think what
I
What
think
we do,
Allah
unfortunately.
told us that, in this ayah, in haza lahu al bala'ul mubin.
Exactly.
That's the end of it. And then
Exactly.
on top of that, now I understand wa fadaynahu bi zibhin azim. I mean,
Yes.
thanks for your clarification. I
Yes. And in fact, I repeated that message twice in that
Yeah,
presentation,
you did.
if you remember,
I do.
to
Yeah.
show that you can infer from that that the human being is great, because Allah the Great is saying this, وَفَدَيْنَاهُ, we ransomed him, not the opposite.
Yeah.
You see, when you are presenting the human being a sacrifice, as a sacrifice, okay, so as if you are ransoming God.
But
No,
to
God is saying, I am ransoming the human being.
understand this ayah, you have to read the one before. Inna hadha
Yes.
huwa al bala'ul mubin.
You see, now you got it, that the biggest trial is this idea of sacrificing the human being. That should be abandoned. We sacrifice, we ransom the human being with a great sacrifice. This coming from Allah the Great, it means that the human being, therefore, is great.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, very good, very good.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Assalamu
Okay.
alaikum. Assalamu brothers and
Wa
sisters.
alaikum salam, sister. Go ahead.
Was there a question for me? I didn't want to disturb the discussion, and that's why I didn't interfere that time.
It's all right. But if you have anything to say, please, you feel free to do that.
I thought some brother had a question at that time when the
Just your
discussion.
take, just your observation on the surah we discussed about women's rights, women's protection. What's your take on that? What's happening in this world? Just your observation.
Yes, yes. So as I was raised in the family where my parents and they were educated. So the environment in our house was where women were allowed to say things, or say as a child when the girls were not sent to dorm in other state for education. My parents did allow me to go, and then the family that I married to. Coming from India, I came as an H-1B visa here. So kind of, the women and the girls are not treated how otherwise commonly in the society they are treated. And we always had this discussion in our house that Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was the first person to even talk about human rights on earth and how women were respected. I remember as a child when I'll see somebody having 4 wives, or if a widow would be sitting for iddat, what we call a wait time, and I would as a child question that why so much of restrictions to a woman, or no rights to women in Islam. And then when I studied about it, I found out that whenever there are anything written in Quran, it's always to protect a woman or a female or a girl. And then more understanding was improved by reading and trying to go to discussion to more learned people about it. So, but in the society, I would see where women would not be given a right, and like I'm a man and I run the house and I bring the money, so you just listen and follow the direction. And whether they are my sisters or community, I try to give them more knowledge about
very good
how we should be protected and more and all that. So yes, this surah and everything, it does. I was aware about it, that how Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has treated the women and human, and given them the rights.
Very good. And again, I think sometimes the terminology can really very helpful. Okay, I emphasize the idea of really how women were really treated as equal partners, because when you have a contract, okay, both sides are partners. Otherwise, they will not sign that contract. What does it mean when you sign? It means that you agree on all the terms. So this mubaya'ah, This is an agreement on a contract. We use the same thing when a new like leader of the society, okay, is chosen. So you have to get the agreement of all the people or selected people, I mean representative of that community. Okay, this is called also mubaya, which means what? That we are accepting you as the leader, but you also have responsibilities to basically protect us and to satisfy all our needs. So we are not bringing you to be a leader and as a prestigious position and then forgetting about us. You see, so when you are accepting an agreement, it means that both sides, okay, agreed on the terms, however they are explicit or implicit. Okay, so women, we have to emphasize that the Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, under the guidance of Quran, okay, was treating them as partners, the same way he was treating men in the society. So they were able to stand up on their own, protecting their personality, protecting their status. Okay, and again, we are not fabricating this. We are not saying it like to as like and as a bias. No. It is very clear. Okay, this is a contract. إذا جاءك المؤمن يبايعنك. These are verbs that have to come from both sides at equal footing.
Yes.
Yes.
Otherwise, it will not be an agreement. If one side is not seen as a partner, or their terms are protected, it is not really an agreement. It is a null agreement. So it's not there at all. Very good. So inshallah, because of Eid, go ahead, please.
I have one question. So you did talk about zabiha a little bit. In Indian and Pakistani community, like consuming this zabiha meat is very strong topic to discuss. And even like when we are traveling and all that, like we really emphasize we have to make sure that you have to consume zabiha meat. So when you take Etihad or any Gulf airline, and when you talk about zabiha, they'll say, oh, this is halal. And you say, no, is it zabiha? So I want to know, is it this a strong feeling in Indian-Pakistan community, or there is some reference in Quran Sharif or Sunnah to consume zabiha meat only?
Yeah. Okay. Again, as you have known me, I mean, over the years, I basically try to go by what Quran really tells us. Okay, and there is nothing above Quran. Quran is very clear about like that we need, I mean, to eat, okay, halal meat, okay, which means that the animal, okay, should it's amazing. I mean, that to see the direction that we always talk about it. It's not about the action, but the direction of the action. You have the same animal, okay? If that animal, same animal, was slaughtered, okay, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the appropriate way, okay, saying Allahu Akbar and the slaughtering quickly and everything, this is halal. You can eat from it. But if that animal is slaughtered for any other goal or objective, okay, Quran is saying you cannot eat from it. It is the same animal. Cannot be, that animal like good or bad at the same time. No. Quran is saying it has to do with the direction of that action. Okay, so if you are like in a Muslim community, you know that the butchers are Muslims, so you don't even ask. Okay, because it goes without saying that this is acceptable, and you eat without even asking.
Yes.
But and if we are living in a society, okay, mostly let us say the people of the book, Christians or Jewish, okay, which is really the makeup of this society, okay. The Muslims are minority, small minority compared like to the overwhelming, I mean, Christian really people in this society. Now, how Quran addressed that? Quran it says very clearly, يسألونك ماذا أحل لهم, or اليوم أحلت لكم الطيبات. Allah, everything that is good is halal. Okay, and Quran mentioned here specifically in that same verse, اليوم أحل لكم الطيبات وطعام الذين أوتوا الكتاب حل لكم. The food of the people of the book is also halal for you. So if the animal was slaughtered by Christians or Jewish Ahlul Kitab, okay, Quran is saying it is good and your food is good for them, which means that you can invite them to eat with you from your own food, the same way you eat from their food. This is very important socially.
Yes.
Okay, now, so how should we really know if the animals are slaughtered appropriately? There, over the years, Muslims have visited the places where animals are slaughtered, and they made sure that these were slaughtered appropriately. Animals are not, if they are dead, they are not, they are taken away. Only yes, to make it easy on these animals, and you are really doing this for a large number, okay, so they shock these animals so that they become unconscious but not dead, and then they slaughter them, and their blood is basically runs out from their bodies. So we made sure that the process of slaughtering is appropriate, and the people, as we said, Quran is telling us you can eat from their food. So personally, I have no issue buying meat from these different drug stores, okay, and like Jewel, Dominic's in the past, and other really places. Again, I mean, this is how I see it from the perspective of Quran. Now, if some people wanted really like only to eat from an animal that is slaughtered by exclusively by a Muslim, that's fine. I am not against them, and I don't even. This is a personal choice, but they should not consider that what I am doing is not right. You see what I mean, sister?
Yes,
it is your choice. You see, it is your choice, okay? But please, whatever choice you made, do not blame the others because they are not doing something wrong.
Jazakallah for clarification.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
all right.
Sister Hamida.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank
so
you.
next, so we will skip next week because of Eid, just like to give people chance, like in case they are traveling or doing something else. So we'll skip next week, and inshallah the following week